TomoNews presents Flight Attendants.
Couple attack flight attendant threatened to blow up plane. It's a small wonder there aren't more homicidal flight attendants out there, because after dealing with flyers like these, anyone would be tempted to load up a semi-automatic rifle. Last month on a Thai Air Asia flight from Bangkok, Thailand to Nanjing, China, a young Chinese couple made headlines after attacking their flight attendant and threatening to blow up the plane. The flight crew probably realized the pair were troublemakers when they boarded the flight and demanded new seats. Another pair of travelers obligingly switched seats with them, and that was one problem solved. When dinner time rolled around, the woman asked the flight attendant to cook the instant noodles she'd brought with her because she'd been too cheap to shell out the $3 for the in-flight meal. When the flight attendant returned with the noodles plus boiling hot water, the woman threw the noodles back in her face. The man then started yelling about how he was going to blow up the plane. The Thai Air Asia flight was forced to return to Bangkok, where police were waiting for the deranged couple. The woman, after being forced off the flight, promptly fainted once she was inside the airport, forcing Thai police to carry her into the interrogation room. The man ranted the entire way that he didn't speak Thai, and nothing authorities could do to him would force him to speak Thai. During the interview, the woman claimed she suffered from depression, which was what made her attack the flight attendant. The man didn't offer any excuses, but reminded them that he couldn't speak Thai. Netizens were hoping the couple would be on a no-fly list upon their return. Others don't even want them to return to China since they've lost face for their country.
Q too. Q very much. Don't fly with us again.
Drunk flight attendant's picture seen by her boss, who publicly shames her. This photo of a Qatar Airlines flight attendant sleeping off her booze bender in the lobby of her Doha apartment complex made it all the way to the top of her company. Being a cabin attendant for one of the biggest international airlines means lots of long hours and stress at times, so it's by no surprise that they like to get loosened up when they're off the clock. But working for the world's 10th largest airline brings many privileges and expectations. The crew has to represent the airline at all times. Rosen Dmitriev, Vice President of Customer Experience, wasted no time in admonishing the errant staff member in a company-wide email shown here. Bear in mind that Qatar is an Islamic country, so while alcohol consumption may be okay for foreigners, it is strictly forbidden for the natives. So before you go blaming Dmitriev, remember he has to abide by the same rules too.
Skimpy sells. A Vietnamese CEO's controversial gimmick to stock her planes with scantily clad stewardesses is paying off big time. 6 years ago, Nguyen Thi Phong Thao started budget airline VietJet and staffed it with bikini-wearing flight attendants. People went wild, naturally, and the money began rolling in. Not content with flights, the savvy businesswoman also began selling steamy calendars to showcase her bikini beauties. This year, she made Forbes' World Billionaires list, the only Southeast Asian female on the roster, and the first Vietnamese woman to do so. But if you think she's stopping there, think again. The 46-year-old has plans to take her airline global. So it's only a matter of time before Bikini Airlines touches down at an airport near you.
Vietnamese fly off the handle over sexy air hostess pics. Uptight killjoys in Vietnam and beyond are getting hot under the collar after a series of moderately steamy photos of models in VietJet airline colours hit the internet over the weekend. The pics, say a spokesman for the Vietnamese carrier, were taken during a trial photo shoot to promote the company, but aren't part of any official campaign. In the wake of the fappening, the leaked photos, which are freely available on the Facebook page of model Ngoc Trinh, are pretty tame. The photo stunt was organised to celebrate the airline's maiden flight between Ho Chi Minh City and the coastal town of Nha Trang. But some bigwig named Nguyen Trong Tang in the country's Civil Aviation Authority said the airline had, quote, violated the local aviation regulations by organising unapproved show on a plane. And this isn't the first time. After a mid-flight girly show in 2012, the airline was hit with a fine of a whopping 20,000 Vietnamese dong. That's a whopping $1,000 US.
787 Dreamliner crew have a secret rest spot. Ever wondered where the flight attendants and pilots rest during those long-haul flights? Well, this is how it works on a Boeing 787 Dreamliner. For long-haul flights over 9 hours, there are up to 4 pilots on board, who take turns to rest when the plane is at cruising altitude. On a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, the pilot's rest cabin is usually positioned behind the cockpit and above the first-class compartment. The stairway to the pilot's rest cabin is disguised behind a security-coded door. The cabin usually has 1 business class seat and 2 bunk beds. In addition to the mattress and pillows, thick curtains are used to separate the bunk beds to give the pilots a small amount of privacy. The rest cabin for flight attendants is usually located at the rear of the plane, just above the economy passenger compartment. The staircase is again hidden from the passengers, behind a security-coded door. Depending on the design of each plane, a compartment can usually accommodate at least 5 flight attendants. The bunk beds are fitted with seat belts, protecting the crew from falling during turbulence. The rest cabins are essential for long-haul flights, as they prevent crew members from overwork during flight duty. Even though some crew members complain that it feels like sleeping in a coffin, other people wonder if similar rest cabins can be designed for passengers too.
Spirit Airlines stewardess is in trouble for posing an engine well. Erica Page Deal, a Spirit Airlines flight attendant, is in big trouble after posing for photos inside an engine well and posting them on Facebook. In response, a number of furious flight attendants around the world showed their support for Deal by posting their own pictures in engine wells. Long before a scheduled Spirit Airlines flight took off at Chicago O'Hare International Airport, Deal went with a colleague to the tarmac and posed for pictures in an engine well. The turbines were immobile and the plane was parked and fully inactive. A disgruntled passenger spotted Deal and decided to report her. Upon boarding, the passenger played detective and asked the flight attendant what she was doing. Deal responded by saying she was taking pictures. The passenger then secretly took down her name and reported her. Upon the discovery of Deal's photos on Facebook, Spirit Airlines executives deemed her pictures a violation. They also said that Deal would be under investigation. Deal's colleagues would not hear of it and protested that each and every one of them have done it. Social media was soon flooded with pictures of airline staff around the world taking pictures similar to Deal's, even once dating back to the olden days. To the busybody who got Deal in trouble, we hope you're proud of yourself for getting her fired.
If she's too sexy for her job, is Turkish Airlines too Islamic? Zuhal Sengal was a stewardess for the Turkish Airlines until her bosses caught wind of her side work of modeling in gothic outfits and starring in poorly made but visually appealing music videos. This raises the question, how much was Turkish Airlines' decision to can Sengal influenced by Islamic customs? No one can deny that Turkey has become a more conservative religious country, the president of the airline's labor union, Attendant Aysen, said in a statement. Last year, Turkish Airlines banned the use of red lipstick and nail polish that might impair the visual integrity of their staff. They later withdrew the ban after an outcry on social media over the issue. The next thing to go was the devil's drink. In February, Turkish Airlines banned alcohol on domestic flights and on flights into 8 Islamic countries that do not serve liquor. Now, Turkish Airlines is shattering the wet dreams of Mile High Club hopefuls after higher-ups spotted Sengal's racy pictures in an Italian magazine. Are you happy with the way Turkish Airlines is bowing to the demands of conservative Islam? Or are you upset that this gothic model won't be serving you on your next flight? Leave your thoughts in the comments.
China Airlines 2014 calendar combines sexy flight attendants with traditional Taiwanese culture. China Airlines, famous for its elegant flight attendants who sport long body-hugging traditional Chinese dresses, qipao. Their airline company recently enlisted 6 of its flight attendants and 6 ground crew members to pose for its 2014 calendar. The annual publication combines the flight attendants with elements of traditional and modern Taiwanese art, such as glove puppetry, painting by renowned Taiwanese illustrator Jimmy Liao, images of the Cloud Gate Dance Theater, and various Taiwanese sculptures and buildings. This year's calendar goes to show that orthodontic devices do not at all detract from beauty. Flight attendant Dong Yunzhen is seen proudly donning braces during her photo shoot. The airline plans to organize an exhibition in Taipei to showcase its calendars over the last 35 years.
American airline companies better step their game up. Vietnam's budget airline VietJet is under fire again for welcoming their national soccer team last Sunday with bikini-clad flight attendants. The event was to welcome the Vietnamese U-23 football team home from the Asian Football Confederation Championship that took place in China. After taking second place at the tournament, the young players didn't expect to receive a lingerie show as their in-flight consolation. Players looking embarrassed as attractive cabin crew members mingled with them quickly went viral, and Vietnamese netizens weren't happy with the welcome gesture. Vietnam's Civil Aviation Agency fined VietJet with 40 million Vietnamese dong, or just over 1,700 USD, and the flight's chief stewardess was fined with 4 million Vietnamese dong, 176 bucks, for neglecting to inform the captain of the event. VietJet said the event was just an improvised stunt by hired models, which was not part of the original plan, and the airline had learned their lesson. The aviation agency said although VietJet didn't jeopardize the safety of the flight, the whole thing could still have posed a safety risk. Yeah, probably a heart attack. United bounces lady en route to visit dying mother. United demonstrated how to fly the friendly skies last week once again, this time by throwing out a passenger en route to see her dying mom. Last week, Carol Amrich was flying from Colorado to Minnesota and checked in, scanned her ticket at the gate, and got on the plane. The ticket was bought by Amrich's landlord in his press loss via Traveler Help Desk, and then changed to an earlier flight through United after Amrich's mom, Dixie Hansen, got worse. Press loss said United told them the change wouldn't cause any issues, but it did. Traveler's Help Desk said they refunded the ticket to protect against fraud. While she was strapped in, a gate agent came to remove her and said her ticket was refunded. Amrich told The Times the agent said to her, "Nobody flies for free." Back in the airport, Amrich called press loss and put her onto the gate agent. She offered to buy another ticket, but the flight left. So instead, Amrich drove the 1,000 miles from Colorado to Minnesota without stopping in a last-ditch attempt to see her mom. But by the time she got there, her mother was gone.